Gentlemen, welcome to another quarterfinals match here between Rev0lt and Ryuk in the blue color, playing as Hades. That is Ryuk. On the other side, Rev0lt in the red will be playing Fushi. The map is Steppe. It's super open. The game mode is Deathmatch. The tournament is the biggest Deathmatch tournament that has ever happened, with a 1,000 pound prize pool. That's around 1,300 USD. The game mode is all about expanding, spamming, and making sure you have the eco for it. 20,000 starting resources, except the favor, which is 200. You gotta advance through the ages quick, which is done in 5 seconds research time, by the way. But you need the required buildings, so temple, market, fortresses are all needed. The villagers are spread to one building each because it saves on the efficiency factor. If you build one building with multiple villagers, they lose building rate, actually. As for spam, it's in, and the units come out with full upgrades for their given age, including the special minor god upgrades. Ryuk is rushing up that fortress really quickly because he wants to be safe against any Chinese flood. Rev0lt has eaten one of the Hippeas. That's gone now. Cyclops coming over to bonk the Kuafu. It probably can't lift him. But yeah, for China, the idea here is, yes, you do spam Kuafus from your initial town center because, well, they might build slower than regular villagers, but they build so much faster. Buildings just come up in basically no time. Heavy fire archers are in for Rev0lt, and he's gonna have the searing point upgrade. The searing feathers, scorching feathers, excuse me, will be nerfing the armor of enemy units that they shoot, but only for a short amount of time. Wait, does he actually have... He does have Nubai, right? Yeah, he does have that. Special thing about Fushi is that he's got 2 legendary heroes. So we should be seeing those very shortly once Rev0lt remembers to make the building for them. But Ryuk is spamming super hard into this. His Toxotes count is starting to rise, and he's gone through Ares and Artemis and Apollo. So those Toxotes are going to be as powerful as they get in terms of DPS. And poison on top, of course. Double Chimera right here in the middle of the army, but the Dao Swordsmen do benefit from this Bloodline upgrade, which will make them angry. 18.2 attack! Whenever somebody near them dies, it's insanity. They have really high armor values as well, so the Toxotes aren't absolutely annihilating them. But Ryuk spam together with Pestilence is doing so much work. Pestilence will stop the buildings from shooting, but also makes units train significantly slower. That's despite the training camps being added to all those buildings. So there's a lot to do early here in Deathmatch. They're already grabbing the town centers as quickly as they can, with some supporting fortresses to defend. Ryuk might look for a little bit of a raid back there. If he catches the Kuafu, they'll have to at least garrison, especially if supported by the Chimera Tyrants there. We have a bunch of Helpoes coming out, which will be a huge help against any archer-based composition. We're still not seeing too many Chukanu from Rev0lt, but that is coming. And they have some crazy stats, even though we're playing on a modded game with balance changes to make China fair. Because in Deathmatch, they are certainly not fair. You already have all the tools in the very beginning, whereas Standard basically balances them by not giving them any early cavalry, by not unlocking the Chukanu in the classical age, blah blah blah, by making it cost prohibitive to have the training camps. But in Deathmatch, you just have everything. So you throw the full power Chinese at the other guys, they have a limited opportunity to kill them. So yeah, we had to basically nerf a little bit of everything. Anyways, for Hades, we don't have many changes. We have a handful of small ones, but none of them are in effect for this particular match, I think. The raid is really good in the back here. The Chimeras are being super annoying against the Tiger Cavalry, but the Tiger Cavalry are a good way to shut down the Hippeas at least. We should be seeing another fire stream on these guys, but it doesn't matter because the Underworld Passage is through. Very, very action-packed game here from Ryuk. He rushes, he raids, he harasses, he uses his god power timings to put on some more damage, and the Kuafu gets sniped. This is huge. He will be able to also probably take down the Baolei as he locks himself into this location, but Jedi, aka Alt Control, is looking for the counterattack. He's using Drought, nerfing the HP of these buildings, starting with the Underworld Passage. That was a quick takedown with the reduced health. And of course, you can't really repair that anymore in Rev0lt. There's that. Neza ends up in the middle of the army. His fire trail and bouncy attacks are kind of hurting everyone here, but he's just one guy. However, John Wick might be able to get some more done with also bouncy attacks, life leeching, AoE attacks. He's been significantly nerfed as well, losing almost 40% of his attack and more than 60% of his AoE. Fortress is down, so Ryuk is not going to have an easy third town center. At least Rev0lt is managing to keep him on 2 town centers. He's significantly hurting Ryuk as well in terms of resources. You can see that because of all this aggression, because of Ryuk donating units essentially to destroy some buildings, to fight under tower fire, he's certainly paying for it in resources. And Rev0lt probably has a better KD, but Ryuk already here with the next attack. The houses are all gonna evaporate to earthquake. Jesus Christ, this is insane. The temple is nearly destroyed. The helipost will finish it off. The hoplites and the earthquake together get the TC. Rev0lt is on no town centers. What you see is what you get, ladies and gentlemen. Free Kuafus are all that's left. They have to build houses, otherwise Rev0lt won't be able to build an army anymore. Maybe, just maybe, those Tiger Cav can get on top of the Toxotes. They don't have many supporting units right now, but does it really matter? I think Ryuk can keep... Oh, wait, it does matter. The Yinglong is in. I forgot about this thing. He's gonna evaporate the archers. Ryuk needs to run, but he can't because he's getting slowed down to 2 speed. He's getting zapped. Jesus Christ, everybody's toast. Oh my gods. Where's the Greek heroes? They're nowhere to be seen. Oh no, the Yinglong might be vulnerable himself, but man, is it difficult to actually get the kill on him. All this poison damage from the Toxotes would have been great. Yeah, that was 0 pop cap at some point. That's right, guys. Insanity. Alright, Yinglong now having to face a Chiron and an Achilles. That's not going to be so easy anymore. He is, however, something you can heal. We changed that in the Deathmatch mod as well. Him and the Nidhogg, both of them can be healed, in fact. Rev0lt manages to build back both town centers. He's got the houses back. Although this time he is feeling the damage in terms of resources. The Greek heroes are all on the field, all 4 of them. So if Ryuk just has the hotkey to find them all together, then he can chase this Yinglong down. The hoplites are a little bit more resistant to these attacks, and I don't think the Yinglong will be able to do too much at this point. Maybe a Sage can heal them back up. But Rev0lt will have to keep running. He can't keep fighting with something on 140 health. The heroes are still here. Oh, they're shooting him. He's dead. He's toast. There was so much opportunity here with the archers, but Rev0lt just couldn't take it. Ryuk's back to high population numbers, 180 plus. He's doing a great job microing the Toxotes. Rev0lt holding on to dear life, trying to take down the hoplites, and then maybe he can get on top of the Toxotes as well. But these Tiger Cavalry are just getting mounted by all the poison, man. He needs a large number of them to actually make this work. Slowly but surely oh, these are Javelineers, excuse me. I thought they were fire archers, but they look so samey until you zoom in. They're Javelineers. I have to get used to them with my eyeballs. That's why the heroes weren't dying. Makes sense now. Anyways, are we going to gold mine? Yes, 5 Kuafus on the gold mine. That's a good start for Rev0lt. 8 Kuafus on the gold mine. That's even better. He's got enough of that. Now he needs food. And you know, this Peach Blossom Spring has been accumulating resources. At some point he should consume that, because it doesn't transfer the food straight into the bank. It gathers for itself, not the bank. So you have to go and gather it at some point. Well, Revolt's army is kind of getting wrecked under the tower fire. The cavalry can take this all day. The hoplites are now getting on top, and the javelineers don't do significant damage against infantry, so this is not looking so hot. Ryuk also adding the peltast, which also will be fielding the poison damage. He just can't get the third TC, but does he really need one? I think he can establish his 100 villager population and get going. These guys were hunting, so that's not so easy to keep track of in DM. I think he might be better off going to farm, but he doesn't have a lot of resources, so yeah, he's got to figure his situation out before Rev0lt can get his act together and perhaps catch up with Ryuk's villager count. There's still hope in there for him. He's not dead, not by any means. Getting the heroes back would be a big play, of course. He can't afford it. Especially Neza is just gold and some favor. Did you guys know that without the mods on the real game, Neza doesn't cost population, but we made him cost 5. And as a raiding unit, that's still crazy. You just do the fire trail and villagers can't do much about it. Come on, Rev0lt, remember you have heroes. Remember, Simba. He doesn't remember. I think Ryuk might just overrun him here. 200 population versus 114. There's not much you can do about that. The Kuafu are getting surrounded by the melee group. Some of them might escape, but unlikely, honestly. Maybe one of them escapes. I don't know. Ryuk killed everything. 90 population now. Very little of that being military. And here comes the siege. If there's more siege coming, if there's some villagers here making a fortress, Ryuk should be able to build a town center as well once he has a little bit of resources. It's not far now. He did make his farm transition happen also. What he's got here is more than enough. By the way, he's ready for additional pestilence cast, but I think he's saving for another earthquake. He just wants to get rid of the buildings. That's pretty far out, to be fair. I'm gonna be waiting for that for a while. It's controlling the gold. Rev0lt has this, but I mean, it's also not safe, is it? And he's going to tap out of this one. Ryuk just a little bit too dominant here. Let's see if Rev0lt can turn this around, because it's just the best of 3. 572 kills to 449. That definitely shows that Hades has some power here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue color, we have got Ryuk. He's gonna be bringing Loki to this one. And on the other side, Rev0lt for game 2 chooses Kronos. That could work out really nicely, actually. If he goes mass heroes with Hyperion, which regenerate, he might be able to overwhelm whatever Loki does in terms of myth units. The throwing axeman can be handled by mass Chiroballista and satyrs. And the heroes just focus on the fire giants. I think this is totally doable. I like it. He's also building very fast thanks to the manors. Look at them surrounding all the buildings, providing this proliferated buff to speed up construction. He's making tons of palaces. Fantastic build order from Rev0lt. Ryuk is spamming very frontally. He's not securing the town centers with it, but also Megalopolis is an extremely open map. See what these satyrs can do. We're going for the back town center. The Rev0lt will be securing the side. I think he's going for the middle though. At least carefully securing it. Of course, Kronos gets the double myth unit, so the double Centimanus now will be able to put on some pressure in this base that Ryuk is trying to build. The only hill fort he has been deconstructed. There's more coming, of course, a lot more. And let's see if we got the Myth units. Oh, he's going tier. Actually, Fenris Wolfbrood is out, but I'm not sure that's going to be the unit for this specific matchup. So I don't think he's going tier for the Fenris Wolves. I think he'll have to spam Battle Boars here, or save his favor for God Power spam. A lot of Cairo Ballista are making it onto the field, and we've got the good old Rev0lt towers. Absolutely revolting. He's gonna just make all the towers. Here comes the Cairo Ballista spam. Here comes the Satyr spam as well. He's just supporting it with a miscellaneous set of frontline units. Unfortunately for Rev0lt, he wasn't able to tear down these hill forts of Ryuk. And now it's kind of getting overwhelmed by the concave of throwing Axemen. The towers are helping a little bit. If Rev0lt just pull back here, he would be taking a so much better fight right now. No Myth units from Ryuk. Well, wait, he's making some Anheri, actually. Very fascinating that. He's got Undermine. Oh my god, he's gonna delete the revolting towers. Holy crap. Everything he's worked for his whole life is gone. No. What is hard countered, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we call that. Oh no. He's broke. That's it. 1,500 resources left in the bank. Oh my goodness. Ryuk has flaming weapons coming up. How are you gonna stop that? No, 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 no. He needs to put everybody he's got on gold. Right, meow. We've got a ton of destroyers trying to take out the side builds, but of course Ryuk responding in kind with throwing Axemen. Doesn't need to be kind about it at all. Once Undermine is back, he can delete the next set of towers because Rev0lt is repeating the mistake. He's lining them up. Oh no. I'm not sure he's gonna be able to afford living through flaming weapons, guys. There's gonna be so many throwing Axemen, and you're not going to be able to approach them. These watchtowers, by the way, are also upgraded with the Heimdall upgrades from Safeguards, so they're cheap, they're a little bit tankier, and we've got flaming weapons now. Ryuk is still full pop. Rev0lt on just 150 pop and rapidly dropping. The fight down here has concluded. There's no more destroyers trying to clean up the side build. And Ryuk is just collapsing on this army. He's going for the towers manually, so he doesn't mind getting some of his units hurt in exchange for taking them down. He does have the resources for it, to be fair. Wait, the Cairo Ballista actually doing a number to these throwing axes. This is not a bad location for Rev0lt to take the fight. He's doing pretty good, but Ryuk is pumping more. So there will be more where that came from. Great job taking down all of the throwing axes, but then there's this to deal with. A big boy gets summoned in from the void, and Rev0lt is potentially going to get sent back into the void with just 100 population left. Ooh. Valor is getting cast. He will need some Valor, that's for sure. A lot more of it. Everybody is getting put on gold. What? That is Ryuk's gold, sorry. The UI just does what it wants. A little bit of raid on actually Rev0lt's gold, and that's getting taken down. Very good timing from Ryuk to hit it in the moment where Rev0lt is hurting the most already. And if there were ever going to be more towers, Undermine round 2 is ready. Fimbulwinter is almost ready, and then another round of flaming weapons is absolutely on the table as the man himself is sporting 620 favor right now. Summons in a Fafnir from the void, and that's going to be just devastating for Rev0lt. I don't think he can take it. This best of 3 might be over very swiftly as well, ladies and gentlemen. Ryuk having no mercy to show. Error 404, mercy not found. Wolves are getting spawned into the TC. To be fair, the buildings are very capable of taking them down these days. They don't have much health. Probably need a bit of love in Deathmatch, where iron upgrades and fortified TC and tower upgrades are maxed. But here, it's still going to disrupt the villagers a little bit. And if you support them with extra units, well, it's extra stuff that you get in every town center location, including the ones that are unclaimed. when you have 2 forts, that's gonna protect. Anyway, the Rams are going now after main TC. Ryuk on 235 population, 3 TC maxed. Rams destroying Rev0lt remaining town center. Another undermine is getting cast. Another set of Rams. The wolves are in. Holy shit, everything's happening at once. Including Rev0lt's resignation. That was brutal. Never even got to use Vortex, one of the really good god powers in Deathmatch, but unfortunately we never got around to it. Yeah, maybe instead of towers, when you see the other guy going Heimdall, I think you gotta build your palaces to the max first and then really spread out those towers, because losing them all at once like that is just a massive cost that you can't afford. Ryuk out killing Rev0lt just barely, just a smidge. But what really matters is all that building destruction and the villagers not getting to work, instead of that having to rebuild. And that's a 2-0. Ryuk moves on to the semifinals and therefore has a guaranteed prize. We want to thank our MetaPlace website subscribers. Your contribution helps us keep the project sustainable. As we reach higher subscription goals, you are helping us cover more and more behind-the-scenes costs, such as video editing. Check out our subscription page using the link in the description, and remember to collect your perks. We will see you the next time.